when women have like sex with a dude, or they deal with him or whatever, and then it doesn't work out, it's like they blame him, like he's a pig and he's a womanizer, whatever the hell that's supposed to mean, and like it's his fault why she's in the position she's in. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the point of that?
I think everybody does that. Have you ever heard a guy leave a relationship and be like, it was really my fault? No, it was her fault. That's what happens when people break up, or whenever anybody like stops whatever it is they were doing with the other person.
No, I'm not. I know, but what I'm talking about is more so with sex. Like, if a guy, because the thing is that I know women who go on dates, or they meet a guy or whatever, and then they end up having sex with a dude, and he doesn't call her back, and he just like kind of just stops talking to her, and then it's like he's seen as like the bad guy. You know what I'm saying? And but then you have women who will basically like call, or do you have women who will talk to a dude and they'll exchange numbers, and then the dude calls her and she never picks up the phone, and she just he never hears from her again, but nobody, you know what I'm saying, everyone just says, oh, that's part of the game, and no one calls her a bitch or a whore for not calling him back, or you know what I'm saying. But like, if a guy doesn't do it, he's wrong. You know what I mean? And it's usually, and then they'll say, just because, oh, well, we had sex, then that means that it's a different thing. You know what I mean? And that's not. I don't see the point. Like, it's like you had sex with the guy, he stopped calling you. So what? Like, why is he got to be an asshole? Because he didn't call you.
The way I look at it, if a woman's saying he's an asshole now for not calling me, is because she feels misinformed about what the sex meant.
But what does it have to mean? I put my penis in your vagina. That's what it meant.
And her not calling him back, I mean, I guess maybe he feels misinformed about what giving a number means. I don't know.
This is all I'm saying. All I'm saying is that when it comes to a guy, and a woman not doing what the guy expect, when a woman not doing what the guy expects, no one says, oh, she's a bitch, she's an asshole, and she's fucked up. But if a guy doesn't do what the woman expects, he's fucked up. That's all I'm saying. And I'm like, that's just ridiculous to me. And a lot of times, especially when, like, there's a lot of women who they get with dudes and they know they're not the type of guy that's gonna be all, stick around and lovey-dovey and that type of guy, and then they still have sex with him. So it's like, you knew he wasn't that guy.
And then they get mad that he's not sticking around.
Yeah, I don't get that. Like, why do they do that?
I don't know, it's a mystery. But I would still say that in general, people don't want to take responsibility for something that went wrong. Yeah. And it's much easier to blame the other person.
I'm just saying with everything, with a guy and for women, if things don't work out the way, if it doesn't work out the way you expected it to, I just don't feel like anyone should be blaming anybody. Like, no one's obligated to stick with you. And, at this point, if you give a girl your number, or you exchange numbers and you call her, she's not obligated to call you back. And if you have sex with somebody, they're not obligated to call you after the sex and keep continuing the relationship. If they don't feel like doing it, they don't have to do it. You know what I'm saying? I just don't feel like it's right to be pointing fingers and calling people assholes everywhere because they're just not doing what you expect. You know what I'm saying?
And I would say that if you don't want to feel used or misinformed, that you work harder to communicate about what your expectations are, or what you think it means when you have sex with someone. If that means you're taking your relationship to a new level, or if it means we're having sex and I might call you, but I might not. And it's not because you're a bad person or because I didn't like the sex.
Yeah. I mean, see, that's the tricky part, because no one's going to really have that conversation. No one's going to be like, hey, they're about to do it, and then they'll say, hey, if we have sex, do you expect me to call you tomorrow? Or the girl's not going to be like, hey, if you stick your penis in me, you need to make sure that we're going to see each other from now on. Like, nobody's going to say that. That's the hard part. You know what I mean? So, like, I feel like people should just take things, like, as it is. Like, if you had sex, you had sex, period. End of story. It doesn't have to continue to be anything else besides the sex. Because you and this is usually a thing I hear women talk about. This is why I'm saying it as for women, is that they'll get mad that they go out with a guy and he fucks her and then he never calls again. And the thing is that, you know, you had sex, you got some penis, he got some vagina, y'all are even. So where's this extra stuff coming from? You know what I'm saying? And I understand if you like the guy and you really wanted something more to happen, I understand that point, but you can't control if he wants to continue to see you again. You know what I'm saying? The same way a guy can't control if a girl's gonna, respond to him after he calls her the first or second time or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have no control over that. So, you know, but the thing is, you're participating in these activities, so you can't get mad at the other person for not wanting to continue to participate or to, keep it going or whatever. That's all I'm saying. It's just annoying with the name calling, like, as if, like, that person, like, purposely did something bad to you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I guess if you get played, then you feel like it. I
well, what
don't
does
know.
that mean, getting played? How are you getting played?
You got played if you thought that this meant you were gonna see him some more, and you're not.
But then it's like you're playing yourself though, because there was no contract that said that. You know what I mean? There was no, like, thing that said that this person has to see you after the sex or this person has to call you back after you call them. Like, y'all had no committed relationship agreement. Y'all didn't say y'all was boyfriend and girlfriend or anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're just getting to know this person, and now you know that this person isn't the person that wants to continue seeing you or the person that wants to continue talking to you.
So, why do you think this happens so often with women?
What do you mean?
Well, so often women feel unhappy when a guy doesn't, call her back, and it, like, plays into her insecurities, and she'll think, oh, maybe I wasn't a good lover, and in order to avoid feeling like, oh, maybe he thought I was fat, or
Yeah.
thought I wasn't good enough in bed, or thought I wasn't cool enough to date him,
Yeah.
because that could be the reality, right? In order to avoid thinking that about herself and maintain her self-composure and her self-esteem, she has to blame him.
I know, but that's not doing anything for her. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, it is. It's saving her. It's saving her from thinking that she can't be a good lover or a good girlfriend.
I know, but in the long run, blaming him is not getting rid of why these situation is happening. You see what I'm saying? Because sometimes it's not even her fault. It might be just that guy. He's on some player shit. He's like, so it could have been anybody. But if the woman would and knew that and understood that, she wouldn't get so mad about it, and it wouldn't be such a big deal. You know what I'm saying? Or it might be something she's doing, and then she can realize what's going on and then fix it. But either way, you know what I'm saying? It's like, sometimes if it is something she's doing, she needs to realize what's going on. But blaming him and making it all his fault is not going to make her realize that, because then it's easier for her to just blame. You know what I'm saying?
That's why she does it.
I know, but then what's the point if the next guy you get with, he does the same exact thing, and then you blame him, and the next guy gets in something, and you blame him, when it could have been something you were doing all along, but you never took the time to look at what was going on. That's all I'm saying. I mean, I know it's hard, but
It's so sad.
I know.
And it's so hard to hear it's your fault you're single.
No, I'm just saying though, because but all I'm saying is this, man. Like, because even guys, we get into that. Some guys, they get mad. They talk to a girl or they try to holler at her, and she doesn't get back to them or whatever, and they get upset too. But it's like those guys too need to be like, like, just keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? Or, like, understand what's going on and keep it moving, but don't technically have to just blame the other person all the time. You know what I'm saying? Because a guy could have talk to a girl, exchange numbers with her, and then whatever, she could have had a boyfriend, she was just like flirting at the time, being whatever, or she's like just got back with her ex-boyfriend, or some other dude hollered at her, or I don't know, any amount of reasons. So it's like, but at the same time, it's like, getting mad and pointing the finger at them is just a waste of time, when you could focus more on what are you trying to get accomplished with your dating life, and then just do that. You know what I'm saying?
And read that book.
Which book?
It's Your Fault You're Single.
I know, that's it's true. The ladies have to get my book. Shit is hot, son. But anyway.